Oh my god, what a mess. Again! So after I proved the concept of installing on the first two windows, which I installed in the previous episode, I felt pretty confident installing the entrance door. First I had to prepare the rough opening, cut the house wrap and install flashing. Then my brothers came in clutch. The frame itself wasn't that heavy, but the door, oh my, doing this solo is pure sci-fi. The installation was pretty much identical to the Windows installation, so if you missed that, watch the previous episode.
Come on in.
Like I mentioned earlier, I'm building my tiny house on a temporary building site on a local farm. One of the biggest advantages of installing windows and doors was to gain enclosed and lockable space where I can leave some stuff overnight, because until now I always had to bring everything back and forth with me, and it was, yeah, a little bit annoying and highly time consuming. Then I installed this big kitchen window. Again, the installation process is pretty straightforward. Remove the window sash, measure and mark hole locations, drill them, put the frame into the rough opening, make sure everything is level, plumb and flush, use the turbo screws to attach the window frame to the wall framing, and put the window sash back in. Then I moved on to this living room window. This one has two sashes, but the installation is no different. The smaller right sash is tilt and turn. The bigger one on the left is turn only. That's pretty standard for this kind of windows. The smaller one went in pretty easily, unlike this bigger one. Even though it's only double glazed, it's actually very heavy. And this one was especially difficult to put back in because, well, just see this sabotage for yourself. Just imagine trying to hold this roughly 50 kilo sash, trying to navigate the hole onto the pin on the hinge, only to realize the hole is clogged with dirt.
See the problem? It's full of dirt. The hole is clean. Let's give it one more shot. I'm done. But so is this window.
Then my brother brought me door lock cylinder so we could complete the door and finally achieve lockability. Ha, what a fancy word, right? He also helped me to put this sash back in. This one is even heavier, triple glazed, and it's tilt only, so it has to be put into the hinges and then locked in with the pins. Definitely not a single person job. Then the secondary loft window, tilt only, pretty easy to install. And I got so good at it that this bedroom window was this easy.
The last window is a little bit different. It's not meant to be opened, so I obviously can't drill from inside. Instead, I'll be using these window brackets. You just slide them into the groove and twist. And just for extra strength, I'll add one self-tapping screw to each and every bracket. There's already a hole designed for it, and it will go all the way to the metal frame inside the plastic frame. All the brackets are in. I've used 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, total of 9 of these, so I believe it's gonna be strong enough.
Then my other brother came to help because, well, I'm not gonna repeat myself again.
doors already got 4 screws, and I'm gonna add 4 more of these brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Again, twist and lock and then screw the brackets into the framing. Of course, we're nowhere near done. The next step is weatherproofing. These windows and door has their own water management, but obviously I need to take care of the gaps between the frame and rough opening. So I simply tape the frame to the house wrap. Even my inspector came to check on me.
So all the windows are taped, and let me show you on this kitchen window how I did it. First I taped the sides frame to the house wrap, then I taped the top, but not to the house wrap but to OSB. The idea behind it is if there was water behind the house wrap, I don't want it to be trapped behind it. So I just added these 2 flaps to keep the house wrap in place, and that's it. And I left the bottom open for the same reason. I don't want to have water trapped in, so it has a way to escape. So now I can apply foam around windows and door, and I've got some history to be messy with it, so masking tape first. Like, what the f?
I haven't even started and I'm making a mess already.
Wish me luck. I hope it's going all the way to the back. Let's just check on this. Good thing I put the tape on.
I slowly worked my way around and everything was looking okay until...
Oh my god, what a mess. Again! As I was spraying the foam from the outside, it just went... The level is now fixed here. And here as well. And of course it had to drip on extension cord. Oh, that was really close to these plastic covers. But look at that. It looks like spray foam is not my friend. Not yet. And as I'm looking around, that's not the only mess that's here. So I think it's time for a little cleanup. Unfortunately, I ran out of spray foam. I was able to completely spray around this window and this window, and for this one and all of these I need to do the seal. You can see the gap. Same here, and for that one as well. So tomorrow I'll buy the last spray foam can and we can finally finish the windows. And let me tell you guys, it's really hot and humid. It's like 9 million degrees, both Fahrenheit and Celsius at the same time. And the humidity must be at least 500%. It's ridiculous. Alright, that's for today. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
And by tomorrow I mean next time, where we're gonna build a bump out that's gonna serve as a utility room, or better said, utility closet. Thanks for sticking around, my name is Marek and you've been watching Self-Powered. I'll see you next time.